Hi everyone, welcome to today's discussion session. Today we have picked a very vital topic, that is how to speak English fluently if you are a beginner. When we talk about learning English, one question appears repeatedly among the mind of the beginners. You know what is that, Vikram? The question is that how can I become fluent in English? For many learners, fluency appears distant and difficult to achieve. They often assume that speaking English confidently requires exceptional talent. It's a Herculean task, as if it needs a perfect educational background or many years of specialized training. Right? However, it is not the case because fluency is not a mysterious ability that only a few individuals possess. Right? In reality, it develops slowly and gradually through consistent exposure, practical habits, and the willingness to actively use the language. The more you use the language, the better you will be used to it. So, every fluent speaker once stood at the same starting point as today's beginners. That is, they were searching for words, they were making errors, mistakes, and they were slowly gaining the confidence through continuous practice. Therefore, we can just come to one conclusion that practice will always make you perfect. So, rather than focusing on perfection, beginners should always focus on building practical habits that will gradually strengthen their communication skills. So, in this discussion, both of us will cover a lot of pointers that can help the beginners significantly in developing fluency and confidence in spoken English. So, Tutor Vikram, I welcome you to today's discussion session. Please put forward your first pointer.
Definitely. I'm really excited about today's discussion because what I personally feel, most of the people, they really want to become fluent in this language, but when they don't use the right approach, so somehow the learning process becomes quite complicated for them. So in today's session, what's something that we have chosen, I personally feel that this is something which can bring something new for the learners, specifically for the beginners. Because most of the learners,
Right.
they don't know what exactly they need to do. So a person who
Absolutely.
has already gone through the same situation, they can guide them well. So the first pointer, if I have to
Right.
add, I will say they should use simple and clear sentences. Sometimes, what we do,
Mm.
as you have mentioned in your introduction, we start chasing perfection. We think that I have to use
Right.
quite long sentences as the other person is
Mhm.
speaking. Instead of thinking about that, we can prioritize simple sentences, clear and very simple sentences. For instance, I'm saying that, hey, I would love to have a cup of tea. So instead of saying that, you can make it very simple. I need coffee. I need tea. I want tea. Something like that. Very simple. Try to frame clear and simple and short sentences. This is something which can help them. And when you use simple and short sentences, this is going to allow you to build your fluency and confidence both. So this is the first point that I wanted to include, and now I want you to include next point from your side.
Thank you so much, Vikram. I totally agree with your first pointer that we should make things simple rather than complicated. The more you will make the things complicated, you will face a lot of difficulty. It's like digging your own pit where you will fall later on. So try to make things simple, definitely. Another pointer that I would like to make forward is that you should always develop the habit of speaking every day, right? One of the most crucial and vital practices for beginners is that you can cultivate the habit of speaking English regularly. Language learning is not only an intellectual activity, it is primarily a communicative skill that improves through consistent use. The more you use this language, you will feel familiarity with this language that much. So, one of the most important practice is the mirror practice. Definitely, there are different kinds of practice, mirror practice, voice recording practice. practice, right? Shadowing technique, and others vice versa. So you can pick up any technique you are familiar with, any technique you feel comfortable with. And many learners, they often spend a great deal of time reading grammar rules or memorizing vocabulary. But they hesitate when it comes to actually speaking, Vikram. I have noticed that in most of my sessions. So as a result of which they understand the language only theoretically, but the practical understanding gets left out, So to overcome this gap, daily speaking practice becomes essential. So even a short period of practice around 10 to 15 minutes a day can create noticeable improvement over time. So learners can speak about their daily routine, they can explain something they learned that day, they can describe an event or express their opinions on a simple topic. So you can, as I said, to mirror practice, it is beneficial because it will allow the learners to observe their pronunciation and clarity. Right? So the most important key is consistency. When learners engage with the language every day, their mind will gradually get used to it. They will be accustomed to forming thoughts in English. So over time, hesitation decreases, sentence formation becomes smoother, and confidence will naturally begin to grow. So what is your opinion on that, Vipin?
Definitely, consistency is everything. I have seen most of the people, they're spending 2 days in a week, and later on they say, I practiced 10 hours on a weekend.
Yes.
So this is something which cannot help them. Only one day you are spending 6 to 7 hours, the rest of the days you are not doing anything. So this is not an effective way of learning. So even if you have this kind of opportunity where you are spending at least 25 to 30 minutes every day. So this is more effective as compared to spending 5 hours on Sunday every day.
Right.
So this is what something that they can do, maintaining consistency and discipline. Apart
Right.
from that, if I have to add something from my side, I will be telling most of the people they want to learn English, Hindi to English, Marathi to English, Gujarati to English. So English, they should learn English to English. If they find something very complicated, definitely they can use bilingual language. They can use their mother tongue, but mostly they can
Yes.
prioritize learning it English to English. That's how they'll be able to allow themselves to think in English. And they have to make some sort of changes in their daily routine so that they can start thinking in English. And this is the key which can allow them to frame sentences instantly. Because when we translate Hindi to English or from your mother tongue to English, so the learning process becomes longer, means it delays their fluency. So this is what something that I wanted to add. And for enhancing their thinking ability in English, they can try describing pictures and they can include different kind of habits such as talking to yourself or if you see any object in your surrounding, start describing that object in English. So these small changes can bring something big in their language learning journey and they can train their brain to think in English. So this is what something that I wanted to include. And what's your take on this?
I totally agree with you, Vikram. When you try to practice this language, many people they think that if I make it a fancy journey, then definitely it will look very good. But the more you can simplify the journey, the more you can simplify the practicing technique, it will be beneficial for you. Because towards the end of the day, you have to learn the language by yourself, right? What a tutor will do is that a tutor will make you sound more polished. They will give you tips and tricks. But towards the end of the day, if you are not regular by yourself, then nobody can help you in this take. So I think that it's your duty to make things simple. Just do whatever you like. This thing I totally agree with you, Vikram. Another point which I would say is a very vital point, that is expanding vocabulary through daily learning, right? So another key element of fluency is the gradual development of strong and functional vocabulary. You know, because vocabulary acts as the foundation of communication as it provides the necessary words to express your ideas, your emotions, and opinions in a clear and precise manner, right? Beginners can adopt a very simple yet powerful strategy. You know what is that? Learning approximately 5 new words each day. If 5 new words is too much, It's like too much on your plate. You can just take one word, at least one word every day. Although this may appear like a small number, but it will lead to a substantial progress over time. For example, if you learn one word, maximum 5 words every day, it will result in more than 150 new words in a month. It will get accumulated accordingly, right? And however, effective vocabulary learning, it requires more than memorizing meanings. It's not like being a learning parrot. No, you do not need to memorize only, but you also need to understand the meaning of the words as well as how to use them in different situations. So words become meaningful only when the learners understand how to use them in real context. Therefore, students should actively create sentences using the new words they learn. Not only the students, the adults as well as the learners of different age group. Whatever words you have learned today, make sure to use that in your practical life scenario, right? You can write short sentences, you can incorporate the words into conversations, isn't it? Or you can even use them while practicing speaking. Okay. And this method strengthens your memory and it will help the learners to improve their vocabulary. So as their word bank will expand, learners will gradually gain the ability to express their thoughts with greater clarity, flexibility, and precision. So you should try to learn vocabularies every day. Make this a constant practice. Use those vocabulary in sentences, and then you can just feel that it's a piece of cake for you. What is your opinion on that, Vikram?
Absolutely, but most of the people they just try to do something extra. They are learning 20 words or 50 words every day, but later on they
Right,
won't be
right,
able
right.
to memorize a
Mm.
single word. So this is what something I would be considering it as a mistake. So they should do things according to their ability, their level, and what's
Yes,
something that is required. Suppose if I talk about the lexical resources, so your main requirement is to communicative language and you just want to communicate with the people. And if you're learning quite low frequency words, even we don't use those words in our day-to-day life, you're learning kind of very academic vocabulary, kind of very formal words we use in writing. So here, something that is not required, you're uh, prioritizing that thing. So this is what something which I've included. This is really great. And for memorization, they can integrate different kind of techniques or different kind of
yes.
strategies so that they can use those words, what's something that they're learning. And if I have to add something from my side, then I would say that even if you're watching this video at this moment, so don't just watch it, repeat it. If you are able to get some new phrases or something, if you find a speech really good, you can pause the video and you can listen to it and after try to speak, try to repeat it. So this method is going to help them a lot to improve their pronunciation and other key features of pronunciation, whether it's their volume, clarity, pitch, pace, tone, and so on. So this is what something that I wanted to include here. And I think last point you can include. Yes.
Sure. I would just keep it very short because of the time constraint, Vikram. I would just say that accept mistakes as a natural part of learning. On many instances, many learners they tell me that, ma'am, I make a lot of mistakes, and this leads to a very difficult thing. My self confidence, my everything, it drops down because of that particular mistake. I would suggest that in the learning process, you will make a lot of mistakes. That's a part of learning, actually. Right? But this fear will often prevent the learners from participating in the conversations and ultimately slows down their progress. Right? However, it is important to recognize the mistakes as something natural and then make sure that you do not repeat the same as much as you can. So every mistake will provide valuable feedback. It will highlight the areas that will need improvement and helps the learners to refine their understanding about this language. Right? So I think that they should shift their focus from avoiding mistakes to actively communicating their ideas. Fluency develops through continuous interaction with the language, not through silence. Right? So with regular practice, I think you can ace anything. Just try to practice regularly. This is the thing which I wanted to put forward, Vikram. You can conclude it.
Yes. So in today's section, we have only already included 6 points. So If you find this information useful, so do implement all these things. What's something that you find easy for you? And if you have any question or the doubt, so feel free to put it in the comment section below. And if you think that there is something that is missing in our sessions, or if you feel that this topic is missing and we want video on this topic, so you can write down that topic in the comment section below. And next video we will be creating on that specific topic. So that's all for today's session. See you in the upcoming session with something new and something interesting. Take care, everyone.
Thank you so